As you know very well, the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative was established back in 2009 to accelerate efforts to protect and to restore one of the largest systems of fresh water in the entire world, the Great Lakes. And as Michiganders, I can say that the Great Lakes are not only in our DNA, they're a critical resource for drinking water, for economic growth, and for job creation. And since 2010, GLRI resources have been used to fund thousands of projects to improve water quality, to protect and restore native habitat and species, to prevent and control invasive species, and to address other Great Lakes environmental problems. However, challenges to the Great Lakes, unfortunately, from fluctuating lake levels to increased harmful algal blooms to climate change, aren't going away and are increasing, and so we need to make sure we have full funding for at least the authorized $450 million in the fiscal year 25 budget. So my question for you, Administrator, is can you speak to how EPA would be able to leverage a fully funded GLRI at $450 million with the historic level of funding received in the IIJA to continue this incredibly vital work to protect our Great Lakes?
Absolutely. I want to say thank you for your leadership on this topic, Senator Peters. And, you know, as you've mentioned, GLRI has funded more than 7,500 projects and leveraging over $3.7 billion in partnership with federal agencies, states, tribes, and local governments. We just announced 4 applicants will receive more than $35 million to fund projects across the Great Lakes, and the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments is one of the 4 that's set to receive $4.2 million. EPA will also invest another $1 billion under the bipartisan infrastructure law, largely targeted for accelerated cleanups of areas of concern, including the Detroit and Rouge River areas of concern. So I feel really good that the vision of this program is working. The economic aspects of it, the leverage dollars are making a lot of sense. And we've got $1 billion in additional resources that we're going to leverage against that to continue to see the progress that you and others have led.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think I would ask you also to follow up a little bit on your response for the benefit of the committee to just describe how the GLRI, I think it's in a lot of ways used as a model federal program. It enjoys one, strong bipartisan support, which is always great to see, but it's also federal, state, and local levels all have embraced these kinds of investments. So if you could, for the benefit of the committee to hear, talk a little bit about both the significant environmental and economic benefits when we're able to bring all of these entities together and focus on this problem.
Absolutely. You know, because of your leadership and the leadership of many on this committee, the interest has created a catalyst for unprecedented federal agency coordination, whole of government approach that really is yielding unprecedented results. You know, the economic benefits, a 2018 University of Michigan study shows that for every $1 spent in GLRI projects between 2010 and 2016, we're seeing the additional economic activity of about $3.35. So that's 1 to 3.35. So, you know, there's obviously been a great initiative to unify the federal government, to focus on these resources, but also, again, it's making a lot of economic sense as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good return on investment, so I appreciate you bringing that up.
Yes.
Administrator, after long pushing for a national standard to limit PFAS in drinking water, I want to say I certainly applaud last month's very historic announcement by the EPA for the finalization of the nation's first ever national standard to address toxic PFAS chemicals in drinking water. Communities in Michigan, quite frankly, have waited far too long for this new standard to help our state and nation make the kind of progress necessary to rid our communities of these toxic chemicals. Researchers and scientists have underscored the serious risk of PFAS contamination in both human health and our environment, and that's why it's important to establish, I believe, additional national drinking standards as soon as possible to help communities. My question for you, Administrator Regan, is that when you were before this committee last year, you told me that the EPA had an additional 29 PFAS on its radar for potential consideration under a similar standard. Could you please provide me and this committee with an update on your work to designate these other dangerous chemical compounds and how we need to regulate them accordingly?
Absolutely. We are very proud of the focus on the 6 that you alluded to, and we all know that there are many more. And so we're monitoring drinking water in communities all across the country for those 29 that we discussed at the last hearing through our unregulated contaminant monitoring rules. We have a formal process there where we're doing a lot of testing at significantly more water systems than ever before, using advanced methods to detect these pervasive chemicals. And we are regularly releasing that data that we collect under this rule for full transparency. So again, we're beginning to uncover, monitor, detect, and determine some of the health disbenefits of those 29 with an angle or an idea that we will pursue regulation for those in the near future as well.